Alright, welcome to part 2 of this 285 rebuild and port job. This video I'm just gonna I'm buttoning it up and talk a little bit about the ignition system and the flywheel. Gonna get this all running and make just a couple cuts. So stay tuned. Common issue on these saws is that I believe these screws here will back out and will get jammed up on the coil and destroy everything. I think it's common for the magnets to fall off as well. And I think sometimes these pins here that hold the dogs, catch dogs here, will break. They're like wicked hard steel. They're like number 62 on the Rockwell scale. You can have a machinist redo it if you want, which I've had it done on my 480. Now on these ignition coils here, this would be a 285 one. And I just want to say that the insulation on these just falls off them, and that kill wire goes up to here, so you don't want it to ground to this piece of metal, or it's the spark will never go through. It'll just come out the side. So you just cut this, solder new wire on, and slip a piece of heat shrink tubing up through that hole and heat shrink it. And that's what I had to do on mine, and that solved my issue. And I got a new little terminal here, got that on, so that works. All right, so I just wanted to kind of cover that issue here, which I didn't cover when reinstalling it. So alrighty, so I'm coming along here in the process. I got the jug on, got it tightened up. Make sure you put your partition and your gasket on the cylinder first before you install it. I got my the magneto and coil assembly on behind the flywheel, and I have it correctly timed. I've got the flywheel on. This is a flywheel that seems to have good dogs here and good magnets. I'm going to test here. I'm going to test the spark before I start it. I've got my clutch tightened up here. I got the flywheel tightened up. Probably I'm gonna put the tank on it next, and the handle. Got my oil pump on, the gasket on that, the O-ring on. I've got the new seal on that side, the new seal on this side. I had a lot of trouble putting them on, but hopefully they're still good. I had to use a pick to try to push them in. They kind of like prolapsed in, so we're out. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is a detail I didn't mention in rebuilding this chainsaw, and I think it's kind of important. Now, you're going to want to check your ring end gap, which is when you put it on the piston. It's how close that these are together. Now you take that and you stick it down your bore, use the piston to push it down, and you take a feeler gauge and you measure that. You try the smallest feeler gauge and work your way up, or vice versa. Now I had about, the one ring had 5/1000 clearance at the top of the cylinder, about 8 at the bottom, and the other piston ring was 8/1000, all the way up. So, which that kind of don't make sense, but whatever. That's what I measured. So I didn't have to do anything to my rings. The other thing you want to check is when you get the rings installed, you want to see the ring end play, which is the up and down movement of your piston ring. There should be almost barely any room in that end gap, and you should get about probably 1/1000 of an inch to 2/1000, and I think 2/1000 of an inch is actually pushing it a little bit. and so I just wanted to cover that. Those are the two big measurements you really need to make. As long as you got your B piston with a B cylinder, A with an A, that's fine. You can also get the piston down there, take a feeler gauge, and measure the room between the cylinder bore and this piston, but I know that my cylinder was good and my piston was good, so I didn't even have to mess with that. And this isn't, you know, a race saw, but there are things to kind of check and things you got to know about. All right, so I got it running. Got to put it back all together. Kind of can't believe it even runs, but I'm going to adjust the carburetor and show you. Alright, so here's the 285. I just poured it out. It was just a mild port. Didn't adjust any timing on it. Just opened up the transfers. It's running very rich right now, but it's got some nut to it. So see if I can get it started here for you. Just kill some mosquitoes. She's a runner. So that's the end of the video. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. I just tried to cover the big things I did on this saw. I didn't want to go into too many details and drag it out. This is probably going to be a two-part video. Thanks again for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, like, subscribe, and see you next time.